Mikel, a lot of frustration, a lot of energy tonight. Well, what's your verdict?
Well, disappointed with the result. Obviously, we put so much into the game. It's true that the first 10-15 minutes we struggle to get momentum and to get the dominance that we wanted to find, especially because we weren't very efficient the moment we regained the ball and where we want it, and that caused us a few issues. But regardless of that, they didn't have anything apart from the goal. It's a very individual moment. That's the margins in this level, and after that, I think the team went better and better and better, and disappointing not to get a draw at least.
It was a 26-pass move for Paris Saint-Germain's goal. Do you look at that as great play, or do you look as well at your team maybe being caught out of position a little?
There is always, credit to them because they get out from a situation that is completely closed. It's in the weak side. That's what they do. They bring the line very, very far from the reference of your central defenders, and after that, a lot of things have to still to happen. We have 7 players behind the ball when the ball arrives to wide areas. That's what they do, and they were very clinical. So sometimes you have to just recognize the talent of the position.
There was a great noise throughout tonight, and most of all early in the second half when Marino scores. You just didn't have that lift-off moment.
Yeah, well, that was a great timing, and that's the margin. That's millimeters offside. The action of Martinelli is through one-on-one. The keeper makes a big save. He's done it in the previous games against Liverpool and Villa. Leo Trossard is completely on one-on-one as well, and he makes the save. That's the margins. That's the level at in this semi-final.
Tomas Partey was has been such a part of what you've done in the Champions League, and especially in the last tie. Did you miss him tonight?
I don't know. I think Declan and Mikel, they were enormous today.
He'll add something, though, coming back, Thomas, in terms of what he does give you maybe in the balance, both in midfield and in attack.
He gives options. He gives us a different threat as well in the box. We're having Mikel the possibility to play him there. He gives us flexibility and options to change the game as well. So it's all good.
So what do you learn from tonight for next week? Listen, I know you'll review the tape, of course, but what do you take sort of instantly about tonight and your feeling for next week?
That is half-time, and we have a big chance to be in that final.
Make it happen, as the banner says.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you. I thought we dominated most of the game. We created the chances. Donnarumma made some brilliant saves, and it's only half-time. We take a lot of positives from this. We know they are a top team, but credit to the players for the effort that we put on the pitch, that we could have won the game as well.
Were you caught a little bit cold with the goal? It was a 26-pass move. They seemed to get through very easily.
Well, we know they keep the possession a lot, and they're really, really good at that. And obviously they had that chance and they put it back in the net, and obviously that went for them, and that's just football. And
Luis, well done.
We're talking about 2 inexperienced teams to some extent in the Champions League is the way he said about adapting. They've learned a lot from previous history of the fact that they managed to adapt their style tonight, and understood there have been moments that they would have suffered, maybe suffered more than they expected to suffer more, sorry. But I just think it's very fascinating to see a player being able to have that space on the pitch to say, look guys, we're talking about players getting hold of each other and adapting in the right time, the right moments, and he 100% did that tonight, and I think he was absolutely fantastic to watch and to perform. But look, he knows it's not over. He knows he wants to challenge himself against the best players. So look, this tie is still on. I think people need to realise this. It's a long way still.
And they might have the same issue as Arsenal had today, right? Playing home, pressures on the whole week. Everybody's talking about it. Let's see how they will cope with it. But the thing is that tactically, really, they have actually played the game that Paris Saint-Germain wanted, giving a lot of space with the most technical players on the midfield.
A little bit, so that's a little warning for them. When teams get at them. But I think particularly the first 35 minutes, there was 2 teams that wanted to pass the ball and 2 teams that wanted to press the ball. And PSG did both of those things better. Their pressing was more intense and Arsenal struggled to handle it. Their passing was slick, it was fast, it was incisive. And they, again, looked the real deal. Yeah. And yes, Tomas Partey is going to be coming back from suspension. That'll be a boost and a bolster to the midfield. But this PSG side at home, I think, are going to have another off day if this Arsenal team are going to win it. They're not out of it. They are not out of it, and they did create chances. And Mikel Merino will probably play further up when Partey comes into the midfield. But this PSG team are slick, and I think in the first 35 minutes, we saw that.
Yeah, that's the point. They kind of set the tone of that whole match, didn't they, within that opening half an hour?
It was impressive how comfortable and confident they were with the possession of the ball. And it was a possession of the ball that they took all over the field. The sequence for the goal...
And these one-on-ones, and the ball wasn't even coming close to the target most of the time. He's really cleaned all those up. And when we talk about big players performing, I don't know what the guys think, but when we talk a lot about Martin Odegaard, and he's a tidy, clever player that can pick a defence apart. But generally, I'm seeing him do that. Certainly, at times this season, not so much in the big games. In the games that Arsenal dominate and, you know, against the weaker teams in the Premier League, he sometimes looks lights out. But when I watch him in games like this, against this, as Robbo mentioned, this quality midfield, all similar size to Odegaard apart from Fabian Ruiz, all really tidy on the ball, nobody over physical. For me, at the moment, he's not doing enough in these big games. It was Declan Rice that was driving them forward. It was Declan Rice that was getting on the ball. It was Mikel Merino that was getting in the box. Yeah, he had some tidy passes. But when we're talking about big players, I don't quite think Martin Odegaard, and maybe that's one of the reasons, as good a player as he is, that Real Madrid said, no, we don't think you're quite good enough here. And I think he has to have a bigger game in Paris. And also when PSG press, William Saliba and Kivior do not look comfortable. They do not look as comfortable as Pacho and Marquinhos. They look really nervous when PSG presses. Saliba's made a couple of mistakes recently on the ball in the Premier League where he's been caught. He got away with a couple tonight. And so there's a lot of thinking to do for Arsenal in this second leg. But they have to get their big players on the ball, and that includes Martin Odegaard, who really, I think, didn't affect the game.
Mikel Arteta provided the latest team news ahead of Arsenal's Champions League clash with PSG at the Emirates Stadium. Mikel Arteta was speaking to the press in the unusual pre-match press conference location of the Emirates Stadium. A couple of hours after Luis Enrique had addressed the media in the same seat, the Gunners' boss gave the latest on his team. The open training session had indeed revealed that both Mikel Merino and Ben White had taken part in training. A considerable boost, especially after neither were fit enough to take part in the 2-2 draw with Crystal Palace. Asked for an update on the team's fitness, Arteta said, Mikel Merino and Ben White, we know as well we lost Tomas Partey unfortunately late on. Ben and Mikel were able to train, let's see if they are able to start tomorrow. Richie Calafiori not able to train. This will come as a disappointment regarding the latter, as Arteta had been hopeful that Calafiori might be ready to come back for this tie. Perhaps for the second leg he will be available. Merino is a huge boost as he was critical to Arsenal's masterclass over Real Madrid in both legs. While White will offer Jurrien Timber competition and some tactical opportunities for Arteta. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta is urging his players to believe they can win the Champions League for the first time because they have already beaten the best opposition you can face in the competition. Defeating defending champion Real Madrid 5-1 on aggregate in the quarterfinals, after victories home and away, has raised expectations that Arsenal can go all the way. Arteta acknowledged everyone associated with Arsenal is feeling the weight of history heading into the semi-finals against Paris Saint-Germain, starting with the first leg at Emirates Stadium on Tuesday, and he wants his team to embrace that. Asked whether Arsenal should be classed as the tournament favourite after its displays against Madrid, Arteta said they have generated enthusiasm and possibilities no one probably expected. But when you look at our history, and you go back to our history, we have never done it, he said. So there is so much to do. Hopefully, if someone believes we can do it, it's because of the performances and what the team is transmitting against big opposition. Arsenal lost the Champions League final to Barcelona in 2006 and in the semi-finals to Manchester United in 2009, and hasn't been back to the last four since. There's a lot of people working at the club for many, many years and they've never been in this position, Arteta said. That tells you how unique and beautiful it is. It is the biggest competition, the European Cup, and we've never done it. We need to earn the right to be in that final. Arteta is taking inspiration from Arsenal reaching the Women's Champions League final for the first time since 2007 after beating record 8-time champion Lyon 4-1 on Sunday. It's incredible what they have done, Arteta said. To achieve it in the manner they have done it, they've shown the road, the pathway, how we can do it. In a rallying cry, Arteta urged fans to bring your boots, your shorts, your t-shirts, and let's play every ball together against PSG in the hope of recreating the atmosphere at the Emirates for the first leg against Madrid, which Arsenal won 3-0.